Hi, folks. Welcome to the Prepared Homestead. This is Travis. Thank you all for stopping by to watch. Well, it's turned out to be a pretty decent day. A little warm, but not too bad. Maybe a little more than normal temperatures, but still very tolerable. I wanted to let you know that the 28th of this month is our monthly meeting. So if you can make it out, we would sure love to have you. We've had some excellent last few meetings, and I think this one's going to be good. It's going to be more of an open forum, talking about security, situational awareness in the wake of all the stuff that's been happening in the last week or two. So I think it'll be a good one. Next month, October, if you only comes ever so often, October will be the one. If there's any meeting this year that you should attend, the October one's a big one. Trust me, we've got some special guests coming, and there's going to be some free things given away. And it might be shiny things that are being traded at really high US dollar prices right now. Maybe gold or silver or something like. Could be. We have some giveaways. We'll see. I'll let you know when we get closer to confirm it. But you definitely need to try to come to next month's meeting because it's going to be a good one. But this one also, come this month too. Speaking of sparkly, shiny things, gold and silver are skyrocketing still. Even in the wake of the lowering the interest rates, which a lot of people said, oh, gold and silver will correct itself. It'll come down. Now, gold is at another record day, and silver is very close to an all-time, or to a 15-year high. And if it continues at the rate that it's going, by the end of this month, it may reach an all-time high. So, that's actually pretty big news. The president announced today that they're considering raising the age of retirement for Social Security. So we'll see. So some of those that are getting close, maybe a decade or so away, you may have a little longer to work than expected, which, I don't know if that's a good thing or bad thing, because most of us, at least my age and older, it's probably not going to be there anyways. So also, the president talked today about he's wanting to take back over Bagram Air Force Base in Afghanistan. Even floated the idea of sending about 10,000 troops over there, because that Air Force Base is actually fairly close to a Chinese nuclear weapons facility. And so he's wanting to take it back over. The initial comments from the Taliban is, we're not interested, go away. But we'll see. The president says that that the government is in talks with the Taliban. But the Taliban says, here's the finger, take a hike. So we'll see. But that's happening. Of course, there's all kinds of other crazy things happening, and I'm sure people will mention them in the comment section. But my goodness, do you realize how long my videos would be nowadays with all the craziness that's going on in the world today? So I have to kind of pick and choose things of what we're going to talk about. The economy, like I said, gold and silver are up, which means the dollar is down. Yesterday, the president made a comment that stock market's going to continue going up. It's going to go up some more, which is interesting because he said in the past that he couldn't care less about the stock market, that it means nothing. Here's how I took it. This is my conspiracy brain kicking in. When he says, oh, the stock market's going to go up, numbers are going to go higher. Yeah, they're going to go higher because your dollar is going lower. And that's one thing that they don't tell you. When they say, oh, GDP has gone higher, it's not because necessarily always that people are purchasing more things because they have more money. It's because things are more expensive and inflation has caused them to go up, which ends up making, there's a gnat in here flying around driving me nuts, or maybe it's a mosquito. I don't know. So that's what all this is about. So it makes the numbers go up, and then they can brag, oh, looky here, GDP went up 0.5%. Because people are paying more for things. Oh, the stock market rose another 10% in the last 6 months. Yes, because your dollar's worth less, so it's taking more dollars to buy that stock. Anyways, I just thought I'd let you know. The next thing is the big topic. There's another big alert in Ukraine, and in Europe. Remember, in the last couple of days, President Trump has made statements that he's kind of done with dealing with Russia and Ukraine. He just doesn't really he's not interested in it anymore. He doesn't care about it. It doesn't matter to us. And while a lot of us may say, yes, that is correct, on the other hand, we're so deep into this now, if we truly walk away, the possibility of Russia seeing that as a green light to move forward, I don't know. It's a very strange situation if that is the case. Of course, it could just be another play to try to get Russia to do something. Anyways, there is now another Article 4 and for NATO. If you're familiar with that, Article 4 is where it compels NATO members to come and talk about the possibility of declaring an Article 5. So this time it's Estonia. Estonia did it, and because 3 Russian MiGs flew into Estonia airspace and flew around in circles for, 10, 15 minutes. Russia also today flew a couple of other MiGs on a low fly over a Polish oil platform in Polish airspace. So 2 NATO airspaces were violated by Russian planes. Now, they could say a drone may have gone off course. That's possible, although when there was like 2 or 3 dozen drones, that's quite a bit. But it's really hard to say that 5 separate aircraft on the same day flew over into NATO airspace. So that's going to be a little bit harder to argue out of. I suspect that they're just testing NATO's responses, NATO's defenses, and they may be collecting intel. Who knows what's on those planes that may be capturing video images, pictures, things like that. That, yes, I know you can get from a satellite, but satellite's much higher up, and maybe they need higher resolution photographs. Who knows? I don't know. These are all just possibilities. The point is that in recent weeks now, we've had several incursions by Russia into NATO space. And NATO is wanting a war. So at what point do things happen? At what point do one of these NATO countries shoot down a Russian plane or a Russian drone or a Russian missile? And it goes beyond just an Article 4. An Article 5 is declared. What happens when one of these drones fall out of the sky and hit some Polish farmer? This is how wars get started, folks. And all sides are pushing this. They're pushing it hard. And you could agree with President Trump and say it doesn't matter to us because there's a big ocean that separates us. But I can promise you, if NATO gets involved in a war with Russia, the United States will be involved in it, one way or the other, either directly or indirectly. We will be involved in it. We're part of NATO. We signed a treaty agreeing to go to war with someone that violates NATO space if there's an Article 5 declared. And so the only way that President Trump could not go to war if that's declared is by violating that treaty. And I don't think they're quite ready for that. So things are escalating. The reports are coming in that Ukraine has actually been doing a pretty good job of attacking Russian oil fields. There has been several reports, and NATO is now pushing for its NATO members to stop buying gas, natural gas from Russia. And so as those things start to happen, that's an even bigger escalation. So what I'm saying is that we're just constantly inching our way, maybe millimeter by millimeter, getting closer to World War III, at least in that theater. You move down to the Middle East, and it's the same way. Pakistan and Saudi Arabia are now encouraging other Middle Eastern countries to join their new NATO-like coalition. And Pakistan has said that any one of those countries that join, if they get attacked by Israel or anyone else, that they will absolutely use a nuke. Not that they would consider it or that it's a possibility. They said they would absolutely use a nuke. So, tensions there rising. At what point do some of these places of tension start to pop off? I don't know. Maybe never, maybe next week. But the odds of at least something happening are getting pretty good because there's so many things happening. And you should probably be preparing yourselves for it. I mean, this is a serious situation. If NATO and Russia go at each other, Russia's very possibly going to throw everything it has at it, which is going to cause NATO to throw everything it has at Russia. And you've either got a big nuclear war that ends quickly, or you have a very bloody, long, drawn-out war. And you should probably get ready for that, because even though it's on the other side of the planet, it will absolutely affect you. It will affect our economy. It will affect a lot of things, even to the possibility of our young people being drafted to go over there. So, yes, you should probably be aware of it. Now, I'm not on here telling you that World War III is going to happen tomorrow or this weekend, but I am telling you, folks, that it's getting closer and closer. With every one of these actions, we're just getting closer and closer. And some of these NATO countries, they're ready to pull the trigger right now. And that's not a good thing. It's not a good thing, folks. You need to be getting your houses in order. You need to be preparing yourselves mentally, physically, and spiritually. Thanks for watching. Catch you in the next video.